Thank you very much, Apostolos, for the invitation to talk about this new subject. Of course, we are not fighting with the flag. We are friends. We cooperate with the flags. Sometimes we have discussions to clarify issues for your benefit.
Presentation, as he told us.
No problem. I can do it in 5 minutes.
That's why he's doing it.
Okay, no problem. Now, Apostolos said about the class perspective. Loyd's Register decided this time to follow the flag's rules. We will not ask anything more than the flag requires in order to certify your ships. So our inspections will be based against the flag requirements, nothing more, nothing less. This is the reason also why we have discussions and interpretations by the flag in order to be precise and ask you what we have to ask you. Now, MLC, as everybody said here, Michael, that ratification achieved by this August 20, we have 31 countries already ratified the MLC. So by the end of 20th August 2013, the MLC will enter into force. Ships flying the flag of these 31 member states need to have certification. According to Article 3 of the Convention, the MLC is applicable to the flags after deposit the ratification with the ILO, which means that if a flag deposits the ratification with the ILO on December 2012, for this flag, the Convention will enter into force 12 months afterwards, which means by December 2013. Of course, here we have a complication, the no more favorable treatment. What will happen for this ship when it goes to a port of a ratified country? It will be subject to postal control inspection, and of course, we may face deficiencies or even detention. So the guidance to everybody is to be prepared by 20 August 2013. Don't delay. And push your flags. It's up to you. It's up to you to push your flags. We are pushing also. But they have to feel the pressure by you in order the flags to proceed with ratification, but also, not only this, to issue the DMLC Part 1. Without the DMLC Part 1, you cannot do anything. You cannot be certified. You may have any statement of compliance, any attestations, but you cannot be certified. So, recommendation by Loyd's. Push your flags to issue the DMLC Part 1. For existing ships, you will go directly for initial certification. You don't have to go for interim if the flag, of course, has in place the DMLC Part 1 on time. So you will go for initial certification. Then you have the intermediate after 2 and 3 years, and then you have the renewal. Sometimes ships may be passed also an additional inspection because a serious deficiency was identified, in which case the ship needs to have this kind of additional certificate. But you will go for initial certification. Now, in case you go for interim certification, you will go only on new ships on delivery, new ships on management, and only on change of flag. For these 3 cases, you will go for interim certification. Some flags may accept and give us guidance to proceed with interim certification after layup of the ship for more than 6 months. These are the only cases that you have to go for interim certification. And the steps that you need to follow now in order to be prepared on time. The first step is, of course, to get the DMLC Part 1 from your flag, the national requirements, the law of the flag, the DMLC Part 1, which will be for each ship, ship-specific, although we should not expect any variations, apart from some exemptions or substantial equivalencies. So you have to get the DMLC Part 1 and create your DMLC Part 2, the kind of manual that you need to create. You have to create measures, procedures to ensure ongoing compliance and improvement with the DMLC Part 1. Please try to do it easy, very simple as possible. The Convention requires to have measures, procedures in place for ongoing compliance and procedures. So, you have to verify that you don't make only statements on the DMLC Part 2. Statements are not enough. You have to state responsibilities and records during the construction of the Part 2. This document can be reviewed ashore in company's office or in our office or in anybody's office, can be accepted, but will be certified upon completion of the inspection on board. This document cannot be certified ashore, only on board, but can be reviewed and can be accepted on board. And this will be done in order to minimize the stay on board, because for the review only, at least we need 1 day. So the review will be done ashore, at least by Loyd's register. Inspection will be on board. And of course, the certification of the document will be on board. 5 titles. The convention is organized in 5 titles. All right. Now, the inspection. What we have to do during the inspections. The inspections must include, first, a document review. Documents. We have to verify documents. Part 1 is there, Part 2 is there, the report of the review, and then medical certificates, minimum ages, documentation, any documentation, document review. Then interviews. According to flag state guidelines, and according, of course, to the request of the flags, we have to carry out interviews with the crew. And then visits, a physical inspection of the whole ship regarding the crew accommodation. Of course, the ship must comply with the flag requirements for the crew accommodation, but the inspector has to do a physical inspection on the ship in order to verify compliance or also the state of the crew accommodation, if it is satisfactory or not. All titles, all requirements of the convention will be addressed during the inspection. Deficiencies. If we have non-compliances, the ILO used the word deficiencies. So whenever we have a non-compliance, we have a deficiency. If it is a major non-compliance, it is a serious deficiency. For the posted control, they will use the word detention. So we have deficiencies and serious deficiencies. As Loyd's register, we will use also observations. Things, items, issues, areas that should need some improvement in order to avoid a possible deficiency, maybe during a post-state control or at the next inspections. The post-state control, the flag state guidelines and the post-state guidelines always make reference to the professional judgment of the inspector. So you need to have an effective inspection on board because of this professional judgment not only for the flag inspection, but also for the post-state control inspection. There are defined responsibilities and defined how the post-state control inspections or the flag or the RO inspections, recognized organizations, will act in case of identification of deficiencies or serious deficiencies. In any way, according to the flag state guidelines and according to the convention, before the inspection leaves the ship, he needs to have an approved corrective action plan. Approved with the master, with the ship owner, or any representative of the ship owner. I didn't mention this on this presentation, but have in mind the definition of the ship owner. Read the specific Article 2 about the definition of the ship owner. The definition is exactly the same with the definition of the company on the IMO. The ILO decided to use the term ship owner instead of the term of company. On board, upon completion of any inspection, the inspector will issue a report. Of course, we'll proceed with the certification. The report, together with any deficiencies identified, and together with any corrective action plan agreed with the master, will be placed on the notice board. Everybody can be able, from the seafarers or any seafarer ship owners organizations, post-state controls, to review it and look whatever they want and see whatever they want to see. Okay. Now, some implementation challenges. I will go very fast, no need to analyze this. Title by title, we have done plenty of inspections, gap analysis, trial inspections, on a consultancy basis, but also on certification basis. We have identified areas where need some kind of improvement or additional procedures or evidence. Seafarers age control. Normally, we don't see that not all companies have the age control procedure, policy, or a measure. Something simple needs to be placed in the DMLC Part 2. About the control of the medical certificates, define responsibilities in the company, in the money agent, on the vessel to verify that everybody has a medical certificate as required by the flag of the vessel. About the training and qualification, normally this requirement is covered by ISM system. One additional requirement will be there about the qualification of ship's cook. Ship's cook need to be qualified, trained according to Regulation 3.2 of the MLC. And then, of course, the control of the money agent, a new requirement. Money agent must have a kind of license in ratified countries, a kind of third-party certification in non-ratified countries, or maybe the flag will accept another measure like company's audit on the money agent's office. It depends on the flag. Title 2, conditions of employment. Many times during the inspections, we have found that the collective bargaining agreements, if any, we are not obliged to have collective bargaining agreements, but whenever there is a reference to a collective bargaining agreement, this was not found on board. Please, place it on board. Place it on board and always in English. A record of employment. Verify that the record of employment that you use does not contain any statement for the quality and wages. Quality of the work of the seafarer and the wages is something important. There are minimum requirements to be included in the employment contracts. Audit your, inspect, verify that you include everything according to MLC in your contracts. What about the definition of the seafarer? On cruise ships, if you have passenger ships, there's a major issue about the definition of the seafarer. Who is a seafarer on a cruise ship? The flag will define. We have seen various definitions by the flag. Monthly payment of the wages. You must have every statement of account given to the seafarers on a monthly basis. Many times mentioned about the work and rest hours, now similar to STCW, except the exemptions by the STCW. What about for seafarers more than 12 months on board, have an evidence to show that he was entitled to be repatriated, but finally he decided to stay on board more than these 12 months on board? What about the financial security for repatriation? Flags are not clear what they require. For the moment, we are satisfied by seeing a P&A club entry, certificate of entry, but this covers only in cases the repatriation of the seafarers in case of sickness and illness. Not in all cases, like the abandonment, maybe, of the seafarers. And of course, the national laws for repatriations must be placed somewhere on board. Very important. Title 3, okay, new existing ships will continue to comply with existing requirements for the construction of the accommodation, new ships with the new requirements. Instruct your masters to carry out effective inspections on the accommodation and record any deficiencies, any findings. It is better the inspector to see findings and corrective actions rather than a satisfactory inspection and a mess in the accommodation. Cook's qualification, you have to pay attention, read what the flag says, and follow the flag requirements regarding the cook's qualifications. And together with the inspection of the accommodation, you must verify that the galley and the other areas are included. About the medical care, Title 4, these are parts that should be included in the employment contract. Also, you need to have a procedure in the DMLC Part 2 saying what kind of medical care you provide and how you provide this medical care to the seafarers. And the flag will have a standard medical report form. Use this form or a similar form which covers the requirements of the flag. Some companies do not have this medical report form. Use a standard form requested by your flag. Normally, it's a simple. Some flags not. It's a little bit more complicated. Bonus liability. Many times during the review of employment contracts or collective agreements, this bonus liability for the payment of sick wages or medical care is not for at least 16 weeks. We have seen for 90 days, for less days. In this case, you have to review again your employment contracts and amend the contracts regarding the regulations. And of course, financial security like a PNI club cover in case of serious illness or death. I'm finished now. Regulation 4.3, Occupational Health and Safety. I will not extend this issue. It is highly connected with the ISMs. It goes a little bit further. You have to address health issues in your ISM system. I'm not saying that it's exactly the same, but it is similar to a management system, OXAS 18001. I'm not saying it is exactly the same. It has parts from this. Address health issues during the risk assessments, during the accidents, incidents, illness, investigations. Okay, this is the difference. Noise vibration, the flags are saying what they want to see. You don't need to go further from what the flag requires. Φωνάζω. Okay. And now, Social Security. Mr. Pantazopoulos said what kind of Social Security, 9 branches, 9 areas of Social Security. The flag will say what kind of Social Security you need to have. Complaints procedure. Recommendation, create a complaints procedure according to flag requirements and train your people to follow this complaints procedure. Train them to resolve the complaints on board. No need to go to the flags, to the ports, to the unions, to the wherever. Inside, on board the ship is more practical for you, for your benefit. And I'm finished. This is the last slide. Correct action plan. Verify compliance with existing flag requirements for the construction of the accommodation. Prepare your DMLC Part 2. Train your people. Implement. Create a comprehensive on-board complaint procedure. And, of course, allocate their responsibilities for the implementation of the MLC. You have to decide to whom this job will be assigned, to the DPA, to the crew manager, combined. You have to decide. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike.